Alright lads, so Kenpachi did official release yesterday, and with that you might be now wondering, even though we got 3 weeks left to go, who is going to be the next character available in Bleach Soul Resonance? Well, as of right now, we do have some data mines regarding the next 2 characters that are going to be coming our way. The first one, of course, is a character we did speak about in the past, the character that a lot of us were expecting to arrive before Kenpachi did, and of course that is going to be Grimmjow. Now, Grimmjow, in the past, we have spoken about his kit, his data mine kit in particular, where he seems to be a follow-up character, but since then we have gotten some images, so if you are wondering what Grimmjow is going to like for the most part, this stuff that we already kind of have seen, so it's nothing entirely new, but I do want to cover it nonetheless. So again, this is going to be Grimmjow's artwork on the banner itself. I don't think this is going to be his artwork in-game. The banner image is usually always different to what the character's art looks like in-game, but the thing that we have now figured out over the last week or two since we have been getting a lot of data mines and leaks is that for some reason, Grimmjow is straight away in his resurrected form and only a resurrected character. We've seen for the most part with every new character release is that they include every part of the character that they can do. So for example, Kenpachi that we recently got, you know, it's not just Soul Society Kenpachi. I mean, it basically is, but part of the kit does include stuff that we see in Hueco Mundo, specifically his Kendo attack. I guess the biggest one is more so Gin as well, right? It's not just Captain Gin, it's also the Gin that, you know, is wearing the Hueco Mundo outfit. But then, of course, it does include his Bankai. Same with Aizen. For the most part, a character, when they do release in the game, it's going to include every attack they possibly can. So when we get Soifon, for example, using her, I would assume that she is going to include the Bankai because it doesn't need to be 2 separate characters. In some cases, though, we are going to see 2 characters. You know, for example, Kaname is using his Bankai, and then we are eventually going to get his resurrected form. I think in that case, it does warrant 2 units. There's kind of a lot going on with Kaname surprising all characters, and then Ichigo is going to get multiple forms. Same with Aizen. We're likely going to get another form of him using all his Hogoku fusion forms. So with that in mind, it is a bit weird to me that Grimmjow is only using his resurrected form, and I think from the last like 24 hours, we kind of heard some rumors that potentially Shueisha isn't allowing them to use his base form, which if that is the case, is just very dumb and weird to me. But like I said, when we first got some data mine information regarding Grimmjow, I'm glad at least he is resurrected. It'd be even more awkward if we couldn't get his resurrected form. Because for the most part, this is going to be the main form, the coolest form of Grimmjow, where he does showcase the coolest attacks. And those attacks we can kind of see. So, for example, I think it's going to be this one. I mean, there's kind of a lot going on here with Grimmjow's icons. If we are to have a look at them, they are kind of low quality, given that they are supposed to be the small attack buttons that we see in the bottom right. But we can see that Grimmjow is going to do a slashing type of attack. We can see this is likely going to be his ultimate. Desgaron, I believe is how you pronounce it. I can't wait to see how this is going to look in game. It's a very cool attack where he just slashes the air and forms a bunch of really big claws. And then we have another attack here. We have another attack. You're going to notice Grimmjow has a lot of slashes, obviously, as it is his Pantera form. But also we have a red button. I don't think we've seen something like that. I believe there are a few more. Yeah, so we have this one too, which does have some arrow icon. We have another one and this as well, which funny enough is actually Grimmjow in his base form. Bit weird, right? As an icon. And then we also do have this one too. So I believe the red attacks are going to be follow-up attacks that Grimmjow can deal. Because if you did miss the leaks or the data mines that we did get, Grimmjow is a character that wants to combine a bunch of attacks. Once you use his technique, I believe, or his special attack, you're then going to be able to use his skill technique 2 more times, assuming you have the required resources. So that likely is going to be these red attacks. And I assume that's what these up icons are supposed to be. So, again, Grimmjow, pretty much likely the next character that is coming our way. And for the most part, he should be a full assault strike unit. With the way Grimmjow released, though, I can't say for certain he is the next character. Because, again, we expected Gin first, and then Aizen came next. And then we expected Grimmjow first, and then Kenpachi came next. You never know what character is coming next. But Grimmjow does seem, for the most part, ready. So he should be here sometime soon. Maybe next, maybe the character after. I'm going to assume he's next. Alongside that, though, we now have some more data mines regarding the next character. And that character is going to be Nelliel. So she's also been data mined for a while now, but we have a bit more information regarding her. So likely, if Grimmjow is next, Nelliel is going to follow through as the next available character. That does make sense. They both fight around the same time, and I believe it's chapter 10 in the story mode is going to include her fight with Noritora, Kenpachi's fight with Noritora, and then Ichigo's fight with Grimmjow. They pretty much happen back to back. Grimmjow's fight is first, then it is Noritora's. With Nelliel, for example. So maybe the next character after Nelliel is Noritora. Probably not. I think there's a few more characters to go before that. But I'm excited for Noritora, by the way. I actually really like the fight. So we can see here, this is going to be Nelliel's weapon stamp. This is the weapon banner. Now, I think there's a few interesting things to take in mind with Nelliel. Is that, as you'll see, we actually do have the model. It is using the 1000 Year Blood War art style, which isn't news. For the most part, we've known that this game does want to use the 1000 Year Blood War color scheme because the original Nelliel didn't look like this in the anime. Using Brazos artwork as an example, you can see here that the color scheme is completely different. I didn't realize how different it was supposed to be, where in the anime, Nell's, horse form is just like a creamish color where it's supposed to be green. We also can see that the hair color is also different, and we do see that in 1000 Year Blood War. So I do kind of like that this game is using the 1000 Year Blood War design for Nelliel when it comes to her resurrected form. That has pretty much been the pattern. Even Rebirth of Souls did do the same thing. But interestingly enough, and maybe it does make more sense with Nell, is that she is going to be a transforming character. She is going to start out in her base form and then transform into her horse, her Gamyuza form, I believe is what they do call it. So that's just weird to me. Again, that Grimmjow is automatically in his resurrected form, but Nelliel is able to transform. Maybe it makes sense because Nelliel does actually fight in her base form quite a lot. And they are quite different in terms of forms here. Her main form of attacking here, her blade does actually change it to a lance, right? So Nelliel's design scheme here is very similar to what we have been seeing. Grimmjow is just a weird one, instantly starting off in his resurrected form. Very curious to see if the other Espada are going to follow through, or if they're just going to start in their resurrected form. I think for some characters like Barragan, for example, I don't think we need his base form. He literally does nothing. So I guess they'll pick and choose whether they are going to be transforming or not. I'm not sure how the other Espada are going to follow through. Okiura, for example, I assume would be a transforming character, and then his second character later down the line could be a resurrected Segunda Etapa form. Noritora, I'm not sure if he's going to start off in his resurrected form or base form. I just hope that when Noritora does come to the game, he does have his 6 arms, because I think that's the coolest looking part of Noritora. But with Nelliel, one thing to keep in mind too, not that big of a deal, but she is censored. The top part of the clothes does cover a lot, but that's basically just the anime design. That's not like really that big of a deal. It's kind of similar to how Yoruichi and Soifun is censored, but that's mostly just going with how the anime did do it. But again, we can have a look at Nelliel's other attacks. So this is going to be her basic attack combo. This seems to be her attacks before she does resurrect. So we can actually get a good idea of how Nell's going to play. So this, I believe, is going to be her technique. For the most part, just looks to be a sword swing. And then I believe she has a second technique, which is going to be the Ceroblast. And the way Nell does do it is that she will just consume whatever comes at her and then throws it back out. I believe in this case, she did consume Noritora Cero and then sent it back out to him. So that's going to be part of Nell's kit. And then we are going to get, again, a transformation effect where she is going to resurrect into a horse form. In that case, her attacks are going to change. She now wields a lance. This is likely going to be a slash forward. And then her ultimate is going to be her throwing the lance, which is expected. It's what she does do in the anime. Probably very similar gameplay-wise to how you see her in Rebirth of Souls and, again, Brave Souls. So that's pretty much the news that we did get today. Again, Grimmjow does seem to be more than ready, so he should be the next available character. But if you are wondering what character is next, right now it seems not 100% confirmed to be Nelliel, and you can get a good look at her right now in terms of a model using the 1000 Year Blood War color scheme. This is what her weapon stamp is going to look like, and from the most part, and from the looks of it, she also should be, because we actually spoke about that, should be a slash tactic unit. Again, that is subject to change, you never know, but right now that is what we are looking at. And honestly, that probably makes sense. Even though Kenpachi being a full assault slash unit wasn't ideal, that's what he always was when the game got, in its pre-alpha test 3 to 2 years ago. So Grimmjow should be a strike full assault unit, which is what the game does need right now, a limited strike full assault DPS character in a way to replace Yoruichi, because all their characters are going to be replaced. And I think if anything, maybe we do need a slash tactic unit the most. And that's what I want Nell to be, and potentially seems what she is going to be. I mean, Spirit has their tactic unit, right? Aizen and also Toshiro are perfectly fine as is. We definitely need to start getting some limited tactic and support characters. Gin right now is perfectly fine paired with Aizen and also Kaname. So I think the Slash team, even though it's a really good team, Ichigo and also Kenpachi can be used, right? Either or, Ichigo being better in my opinion. They definitely do need a new tactic unit that isn't Byakuya. I don't know, me personally, just not a fan of Byakuya's gameplay. Even though, to be fair, he does work well with Kenpachi and also Ichigo, I think the biggest annoyance with this character in terms of rotations is more so the Bankai. I just never liked using the Bankai effect. You're in it for too long, in my opinion. And as someone that played Byakuya in the original beta, they did tone down how fun the character was when in Bankai. It was much cooler 2 to 3 years ago in the alpha test, but now the way the character currently works, it's kind of just a bit mid. You just press your technique 3 times and then hold the enemy down in place. So I am excited to see what a limited time tactic unit other than Aizen, because he's kind of like a generic support despite wanting to be used in Spirit, is going to like. And we're finally going to potentially get that at this point 6 weeks from now with the release of Nelliel, if that is what she is going to be. And she potentially is going to make the Slash team a lot better. So the future best Slash team might be looking like Ichigo, Nell, and also Kisuke. But then again, you know, Kenpachi right now is the hot topic as he is a new unit. Doesn't feel powerful enough. Maybe now the next tactic unit is going to allow Kenpachi to be a lot better. Maybe better than Ichigo. I don't see how that's going to happen. But, you know, with Toshiro, for example, with the release of Aizen, Toshiro got a buff. His ultimate cooldown got lessened, and then he also did get the counter effect, where if you do counter, you get all your spiritual pressure to activate his Tensor Jurin form. And that was perfect for Aizen, who allows you to just get off counter attacks when you switch after using Hado 90 or his ultimates. So who knows, maybe Kenpachi, for those that do want him to get buffed, might get a slight change with the release of Nell, and that might actually allow him to be a lot better. Maybe that's copium, but again, we pretty much did see that with Toshiro when Aizen did release. So I guess we'll see how it does go. But in the comments below, let me know what you like to think about the news that we did get today. Again, Grimmjow should be next, hopefully right. And then Nelliel seems to be the character releasing after him. And she, for now, seems to be a Slash tactic unit. And I guess if we do get any more information regarding her actual gameplay or kit, we will cover that on the channel too. So make sure you guys are subscribed. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.